Ladies and gentlemen, buyers, good morning and a warm welcome to what is sure to be another very special Harcourts, Rata and Co-Auctioneer number 4, Teal Crescent in LALOR. My name is Robert Ozzimo. I proudly represent the company of Harcourts, Rata and Co. And I'm joined here today by some of my award-winning colleagues in blue, the best team in LALOR. If you do require their advice throughout today's available for inspection before the start of the auction. The auction rules prohibit an auctioneer from accepting bids available for inspection before the start of the auction. The auction rules prohibit an auctioneer from accepting bids or offers for a property after the property has been knocked down to the successful bidder. The vendors have a reserve price as the auctioneer will indicate bidders on request. The law prohibits false bids, prohibits major disruptions by bidders and prohibits bidders attempting to prevent others from bidding and provides for fines for such conduct. The rules permit for vendor bids. The words I'll use during the auction to indicate that I'm making a bid on behalf of the vendor are vendor bid, and by law only I, as the auctioneer, can make a vendor bid. The contract of sale has been on display prior to today's auction. We call for 10% deposit upon the fall of the hammer and the signing of that contract to take place here today, with the balance to be paid at settlement in a flexible 30 to 60 days time, at which time the vendor will provide the lucky buyer with vacant possession of the property. All in all, quite a straightforward contract. Everything is in there. Everything's quite clear. So buyers, is with my highest recommendation what we offer for your consideration and competition here today. A great package for the first home buyer, a great package for the investor, a great family home for you and your family here in this great family location. If we consider where we find ourselves here in the heart of LALOR today, we're quite blessed with location because we have access to everything that adds to creating a great lifestyle. The convenience of transport at your fingertips, not far away at all from LALOR station and multiple bus routes. The convenience of shopping, not far away at all from, of course, LALOR Hub or LALOR Plaza, and easy access to high street shopping and not far away at all from Costco and Pacific Airpin. Plenty of good quality schools, both primary and secondary, within easy reach. Also, then you look at the property itself. They don't build them like this anymore. You can see from the moment you walk through the door how good a condition the property is in. Ready for you to move in today, but plenty of scope for you to modernise and add your own touches on throughout the years. A great opportunity, as I said, for those first home buyers among us, a great opportunity for those investors, and an opportunity for you today, buyers, to bid, to buy, to get the sold sticker up on the board if that is your goal. Right now is your opportunity to realise that, right, buyers? Where can I see a fair and reasonable starting bid for number 4, Teal? Who'd like to start us off, buyers? I don't mind the call. I'm in your hands. Start me where you like. This is your moment, your time. We're here to sell if you're here to buy. I've had my say. Time for you to buyers to have yours now. Who'd like to start us off? An opportunity at 600,000, a fair start now at 6. At 600,000 on the phone with Michael at 600,000. Phone bid here today at 600,000. Fairly been offered, just a round number. Don't let's scare you off at 600,000. At 50. At 650,000. At 650,000 now. I dare say fight fire with fire. Take me to 7. Why not? At 650,000, the bid's there. At 650, the bid. At 650,000. Fairly been offered now at 650. The bid now at 6.5. At 650,000, bid here across the road against your buyer, Michael, on the phone. At 650 now. At 650,000. Once at 650, are we done? Second call at 650,000. Are we done? Finished. Third, final call at $650,000 the bid. Bids there. Opportunity on the phone with you, Michael, at 650,000, and with every other prospective buyer here today. If you have come to buy, show me now at 650,000. There's the competition. There's the bid at 650. First call at 650,000. Done. Second call at 50. Done. Finished. Third, final call at 650,000. Done. Finished. Silent out at 50. Need instructions there on the phone, Michael, at 650,000. What do they say? 650,000, only the one bid in them today at 650,000. The bid's there. Opportunity with your buyer on the phone at 650, the bid now at 650,000. In or out at 650, at 650,000. I'll move along then at 660 and a vendor bid, and I'll put it back to you now for 70 if you like. At 660,000, at 660,000. Bit of hesitation there on the phone at 60 now. At 660,000, make it 70 in the rise. At 660, at 70, and I would think so. At 670,000, at 670,000, fairly been offered out 670 the bid. At 670,000, the bid's there at 70. At $670,000 the bid now. First call at 670, we done. At 670,000, second call at 670 the bid. At 670,000, third final call at $670,000 the bid. All done, finished, silent, out. At 670, bid there. I'll move along and make it easier for you now with a vendor bid at 5, only 5 on the rise at 675, and extremely close now, make it 80 in the rise. At 675,000, my bid against yours, and 80, and I would think so at 680,000 now. At 680 the bid. At 680,000 now, bids there. At 680 the bid for the first call at 680,000. Second call at 680, third and final call at 680,000. Done, finished, silent, out at 80. Can I confirm that bid at 80? Yeah, give me a second. Bear with me one moment. I'll be back momentarily. Thank you. All right, we've had a chat. We're getting it on the market. It just confirmed that you've increased your position to 695. Yeah. That puts us on the market. If there's no further bidding, we'll be selling to you. All right, good luck. Well, buyers, thank you for your patience. I can confirm that we have had 695,000 on instructions from our vendor. That puts us on the market selling here today. So if you have indeed come to buy, there's the competition, there's the bid, there's the keys at 695,000. We're on the market and selling here today. If you've come to buy, you must show me now or forever hold your peace. Bids here, keys are here, we sell away now. First call at $695,000. Are we done? Second call at 695 the bid. Done. Finished. Third, final call at 695,000. We're selling, we're playing for keeps here today. No second chances. Once the hammer falls, sold is sold. Third and final call. All done, all finished, all silent out at 695. That's not a bid, is it, sir? That a bid there, sir? Yeah. A 700, can I say?
Yeah, 1 second.
1,000 would be better than 1 second, sir. At 695, the bid's here. At 695,000, if you get here to buy, so I need to know now. About to sell at 695,000. Give me 700, get on top.
Teal Crescent property.
Bids here, yes or no? At 695, no interest over here. At 695,000.
At 695.
We're on the market and selling, sir. Let them know we are selling here today. If they want to buy, I need to know now. At 695,000. 700?
700, yeah.
At 700,000, even money, almost had it. At 700,000, the bid's back there now at 7. At 701, at 701,000. Now, sir, you can't come in and be in one bid one day and then leave me at that. At 701,000, the bid's there now at 701. Take me to 05. At 701,000, fairly been offered now at 701, the bid. At 701,000, bid there, keys are there. We're on the market, selling to take more than one bid to buy here today. At 701,000 now. At 701. At 701,000. First call at 701, done.
702.
At 2 now, at 2. At 702,000, back against you. At 702 the bid. At 705,000. At 705, a better bid there at 705. At 705 the bid. At 705,000, bid there. Opportunity with use against your bid at 705. At 705,000. At 705,000, fairly been offered at 6 now at 706. At 706,000, how about 10 in the rise? At 700, at 707, at 707. At 707,000, is that right? 707 now. At 707,000, fairly been offered at 707. Make it 10, sir. At 707,000, bids there, keys are there. We're on the market, we sell at 707,000. First call at 707. Doing some calculations, so 707 plus 3, 710. At 707. At 707,000. We've come this far. It was a late run. You want to make it count, surely. At 707,000 now. At 707. At 707,000. Bid there, keys there. Opportunity with you now. Won't be for long. We're on the market. We sell at 707,000. At 707. First call at 707,000. All done. Second call, 707 the bid, done and finished. Third final call at $707,000, all done, finished at 8 now at 708. 10 surely at 708,000, bid back here now at 710, at 710,000, at 710,000. At 710,000, what do you say? At 710,000, bids there. At 710,000, make it 711 and we'll throw in a Slurpee. At 710,000, fairly been offered, 710 there. At 710, the bid against you, sir. At 710,000, first call at 710, done. Second call at 710,000, done, finished. Third and final call at 710, the bid. At 711 now, as we've got the Slurpee in the pocket now at 711 and 12. At 712,000. At 712,000, we're back there now at 712 at 13. At 713. At 713, the bid. At 713 and 14 now. At 714 and 15 if you like. At 714,000, the bid's there. At 15. At 715 now. At 715, take me to 20. At 715,000. At 715, at 20. 20 now, and a great bid at 20 at 720,000. Big bids, buy property at 720,000. It's just a big bid, so I'm sure you can make one too. At 720,000, and the bid's there at 720 the bid. At 720,000, if that's all that's left in the tank, we'll sell at that. At 720,000, need to know. At 720 the bid. Bids there, keys are there. At 21 now, 721. At 721,000. At 721 the bid. At 23. At 723 now, 723. At 723,000, bid back there now. Keys back there now. At 723, we sell once. At 723,000, done. At 4, 724. At 724 and 5 now, at 725, the quick retort at 5. At 725. At 725,000, 26 now got. At 726. At 726 the bid, at 7 now, 727. At 727,000, 30 can I suggest, sir? At 727,000 and the bid's there now. At 727 the bid. We're on the market, we're selling here today. We play for keeps, you need to show me now. Dig deep if you want to buy. At 727 the bid. Once. At 727, done. Twice at 727, done and finished. Third, final call at 727,000, all done, all finished. At 28 now, and welcome back at 28. 30, at 30 now, 730, at 730 the bid, at 730,000, the keys are back here now at 730, at 730,000, fairly been offered, 31 now at 731, at 731, bid back there now at 32, at 732,000, going to take a bigger bid than that to buy, so 732 the bid, at 732,000, fairly been offered now, at 732 I have, at 732,000, we're selling here today, at 732,000, come to buy, show me now at 732, at 732 the bid, first call at 732, done. Second call, 732,000, done and finished. Third, final call at 733 now. At 35, again, the quick retort straight back in at 735,000. You're going to have to dig deeper, sir, at 735. Take me to 40, sir, at 735. At 36, at 736 now, at 736 and 737 now, at 730, at 38 now, at 738. At 40, at 740, at 740,000, at 740, and we're back there, back across the road, keys are there, opportunity with you now, at 740,000, we sell here today, at 740, once, at 740, all done, twice, at 740, done, finished. Third and final call at 740,000, certainly with them, sir. Can be with them though if they want. They have to bid higher than that though. At 740, at 41, at 74, at 42, at 742, at 742,000. Decisive bidding on this side of the street at 42, at 743, at 743, 44, at 744, at 744. That wasn't a bid, sir. It's only two in it. At 744 now, at 744. At 744 the bid, fairly been offered now at 744. First call at 744,000, done. At 5, 6, at 746. At 746 and 7 now. 50 can I say? 747 bids there. At 50 now. At 750,000. At 750,000, fairly been offered. At 750,000, bids there, keys are there. Have they done enough now, sir? At 750,000, I'll sell there if that's all you've got. At 750,000, first call at 750, done. Twice at 750, done and finished. At $750,000 a bid for the third and final call. At 750, bids there, keys are there. Are we done? We finished. Silent and out at 750,000. Need to know, sir. One more. 750, bid there, in or out?
Yeah, one more.
At 751. At 2. At 752. At 752, straight back, pressure straight back on you, sir. At 752,000. At 752,000, you've got to be decisive if you want to buy here today. At 752 in the bids here. At 752,000. At 752, fairly been offered now. At 752 the bid. At 752,000, bid there, keys there. Do we let them have it now? 53. At 753 now. 54. At 754, at 754 with a nod of the head at 54. At 754 now, make it 755 for 60 sounds better. At 754,000. At 754,000, bid here at 754. Keys here at 754. We're selling at 754 if there's no better bid. Once at 754, done at 55. At 755, 60. At 56, at 756, I heard the 6 and assumed it was 60. At 756,000, bid there at 756. At 756,000. At 756,000, fairly been offered now. How about you take me to 60, sir? At 756,000, fairly been offered. Bids there, keys are there. We sell once at 756, done. Twice at 756, done and finished. Third, final call. $756,000 a bid, all done, all finished, silent out at 756. We're definitely done, sir. Thank you very much for your spirited bidding here today. At 756,000, bids here, keys are here. We're on the market and selling. First call, second call, third, final call, all done, all finished, all silent out at 756. Definitely done, sir. Thanks once more. We're selling, selling, selling. Sold! Congratulations and well bid. Please join us in congratulating our purchasers and our vendors here today. You've just witnessed another successful Harcourts, Rata and Co auction. Have a great weekend. We'll see you again soon. Thank you. Well done. Rose to the occasion. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done.
Mate.